Welcome to Feisty Chess. I've got white against Nikan Bayat 88. E4 as always. Let's see what our opponent does. Okay. Let's go with knight f3 today. And let's try the Scotch game. Okay, we recapture. He goes for knight f6 lines. Okay, I know the classical a little better with bishop c5. That attacks our pawn. I think we just want to protect it like this. Okay, and now we grab here so we can guard with bishop d6. Okay. I don't know if e5 is any good here. Can I just castle? You could pin the knight. Then I'd have to take it. Pin, bishop g5, h6, takes, queen takes, and he's piled up on the c3 point. I'm looking at pushing. e5, knight can go here. Then maybe I just castle? Let's start with e5. I've got bishop f4 if I need it too. Yeah, bishop f4, and that looks fine for white. I didn't want to undouble those pawns by taking on d4. Although now he can push. He can push. I'd have to kick the bishop. But his knight's under threat for now. Maybe castling would be best after that. Castles, knight takes e5. Okay. Okay, I can either take his knight or kick his bishop. Or I can just castle. Castles, takes, 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 and then bishop takes. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm just going to castle here. And if knight g4 now, I think just h3 is good enough. He might gain an extra pawn if he takes pawn takes c3 at some point. He might have these tripled pawns, which are essentially not much better than just one pawn on that file. He might even have two extra pawns. Okay, we're going this route. Rook e1. He has to go bishop e6. Yeah, I do have to do something about this. I think I'll just do this. Okay, he's up a pawn, but his pieces look kind of silly. He can't make anything of this pawn majority. And I've got a little bit of a lead in development. Maybe I should have played rook check first, just to limit his options. Okay, now I can get my queen out here with a mate threat. He has to weaken his king side to deal with it. Let's go for that. Maybe I can follow up with bishop g5 after g6. That looks promising. I don't see anything. Well, he's got h6. He's got h6. That seems more weakening. h6, then maybe I've got g4 even. Yeah. So let's look. h6. Okay, g6. Now I'm thinking bishop g5 here, and I'm okay with the queen trade with that and that, because his pawns are just completely obliterated. And I think that a lot of this is going to come down to pawn structure in that ending. My 3 are much better than his 4 over here. Gets another piece out. Of course, he's got options with his queen, but everything of mine is guarded. Everything. And then if he moves his queen, I can drop my queen back here, perhaps. Yeah, I'm just going to get this bishop out. You have to look for desperados here. He could take on f2, and then... Oh, that actually doesn't look half bad, taking on f2. No, I'm okay. I have time to play king h1. So here's a desperado, a different way he can win a pawn. Queen f2, rook takes, and then he takes my queen. And then I have to watch out for bishop c5. So I just play king h1. And then, yeah, I like the looks of my bishops around his king. And my rook is now on an open file. So he can't play f6. And I can probably get bishop f6 in at some point. And then slide the rook over, up and over. Mating ideas with rooks and bishops. I love offering queen trades and at the same time giving my opponent a pawn, but coming out better. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm better. Maybe I'm not. It's giving my opponent something to think about anyway. Okay, he doesn't want to go for that. So now I think queen h4 looks good. That threatens, yeah, that covers this really well and threatens that. So yeah, queen h4 here. Also is guarding h2, so if he ever tries any bishop d6, I'm covering it. If he plays f6 here, I've got a check on c4. It may be worthwhile. Oh, I'm hitting that bishop now. Lateral moves. I am attacking this bishop. I didn't notice until just now. Let's see if my opponent notices. Those moves are tricky to see. Let's increase that size. There we go. Yeah, this is looking dangerous for black. I think h6 was maybe, going back here, h6 was maybe preferable after I looked at it. Doesn't hit my queen. It allows me another tempo to develop, but now he's got this weak complex. If he tries to guard his bishop with just like queen c5 or moving the bishop somewhere, I'm coming in with bishop f6. Okay. He is going for that. I've got f5, f4. I got g6. I've got rook e1. Yeah, the thing is, if bishop f6 right now, he comes in with queen f4, and I don't see a way to continue the attack. But getting a rook out, question is which rook? I don't think f2 is coming under threat right now, so this rook can move out. And I can have the other open file for my queen's rook. Possibly. Okay, I think we've got well more than enough then for the pawn I've invested here. He can't stay on that diagonal and maintain that threat. He's probably got to go to d5. And I can get bishop f6 in. Probably c5. c5, bishop f6. He probably needs to play h5. h5, maybe I could play bishop e2. So here's what I'm looking at. Queen c5, bishop f6. He needs to prevent queen coming in. One way to do that is h5. But then bishop h2, and I'm getting a sacrifice ready on h5, which I think is pretty deadly. Okay, I was looking at bishop f6. There's also bishop e3 here, and then planning on going bishop d4. His queen just doesn't have many safe spots here. If bishop f6, he also... No, he doesn't have bishop e5 now. Or e7. At this point, I do want to avoid a queen trade. Oh, that rook is trapped. That rook is trapped on bishop h6. That's something, because he hasn't got his queen bishop out yet. So maybe I'll just win the exchange, but I really don't want to part with my dark square bishop. Hang on, this threatens queen f6, which is an even stronger threat. He does have bishop e7. He does have bishop e7 then. But I could just take... No, he doesn't, because my rook covers everything. Okay, bishop h6 it is. A little slow here today. But my instincts are serving me well. Crazy how that rook is trapped. But I might not even be going after the rook. If I get queen f6 in next move, it's over. If you find some way to give the pawn back, like even if g5, even if I just trade queens here, that can't be the right move, but even if that happens, I've got a better ending. The pawns are equal, and his majority on the queen side is about as bad as it can get. Yeah, everything's just so harmonious in my position here. Okay, he's got bishop e5. Well, this allows me in here, and this, as I said, I was hesitant to trade off this bishop, but he can't take with the queen. He has to take with the king, in which case I have got queen h7. I've also got queen e8 now. I think his king wants to be on g7 though, so I think queen h7 is a better try. Also grabs a pawn. This is forcing though. Let's look at it. Queen e8, queen d8, king g7. Let's go for this. I do have a check as a follow-up. Okay, and white resigns. He's down the exchange, and his king is pretty awkward here. He'd had enough. Let's imagine how it might have gone. Probably want to get this bishop here, guarding this this check. I mean, the bishop guards h8, which is pretty key. I even have an exchange sacrifice here that might even be good enough for me. Maybe rook e4, and then I'm. Well, it's not effective. Swinging to h file doesn't really do much. I could trade queens at this point and have a better ending, but there's a lot of game left. I mean, that bishop pair is awfully tough for a rook to navigate through sometimes. So surprised by my opponent's quick resignation. Let's see what the computer thinks at this end position. Well, it really likes white. Yeah, bishop e6. This is what I looked at. And just bringing that other rook to the d file. Very simple, natural. And what if black goes pawn hunting here? Oh, rook takes e5, of course. How about something like this? Yeah, it's just looks like bad news for black. a5. Trying to activate the rook along the a file, I guess. Rook b8 makes more sense to me. Maybe we bring the rook to the fourth rank. Anyway, let's go back. Scotch game, an occasional weapon of mine. I don't know it as well as I should, especially this knight f6 line. So knight takes c6 is the main line. Looks like black does, or white does worse with knight c3, my line. So yeah, taking on c6. And then what's the usual way for black to recapture? With the b pawn. Right. You need to do that or you lose the castling rights and you have almost a lost ending if you take with the d pawn. Because, again, like in the game, this majority over here is useless because you can't create a passer. This majority is very healthy and can someday create a pass pawn, which is almost like having an extra pawn. So computer likes white here. Instead, I went with knight c3 and then bishop b4, and that's a pretty equal game. All those lines. That's the Schmidt variation, knight f6. So yeah, 21% winning chances for each side. Now you really have to go knight takes e. Oh, bishop g5. Okay, I looked at that. B takes. Now bishop d3. d5. Okay, e5 scores better for black, and takes is the main move apparently. Knight to g4 here. Good for black. Queen e7 also looks really good. Pushing. Oh, this gives white a big advantage. Because I can make him give up the bishop. I didn't do that. Computer really likes the bishop pair here. It's a very open game. So the path not chosen here, a3, d takes. Unclear why that's better than bishop takes. Oh, way better. Oh, because you lose the center. Okay, let's just look at the computer line. a3, d takes, a takes b4. Oh man. Pawns are even, and look at this. And now I'm defending this e-pawn already. My bishop is developed beautifully. Ready to castle. Black's way behind. He's got knight d5 instead of knight g4. Queen d2 covers that pawn. Queen e7 hits it again. Just castle. You can get that pawn back. c3. Well, what if knight takes? Bishop e4. White just calmly proceeds. Oh, then there's bishop a3 coming. Castles, and look at this bishop on that diagonal. And c5 is not possible because take the rook on a8. Okay, power of the bishops here. But I just castled, which keeps some advantage. Wow, I didn't think I'd had an advantage at this point. E takes f6. Queen f6. He likes the queen check. I went for this, and now computer likes black a little bit. Castles. Yeah, the computer likes h6. Let's see what it thinks about g6. Okay, bishop g5. Yeah, this is the line I was looking at. The queen desperado. So, I mean, the queen can come back here or here, but you just admitted to giving me a free tempo to develop my bishop, and I'm just kind of ahead. So, queen taking here. It likes king takes f2. I think rook e1. What about king h1? Bishop c5 anyway. Rook f1? Come on, f3. Why not? Oh, bishop g4 is why not. Okay. What about this? Oh no, that's going to get skewered. So he's got to go back to f1. Bishop d4. Okay, and this... Yeah, bishop f6 is now... Well, I could try to be tricky. I could try to be a little tricky here. He's got c5. Okay, well that was the line that was good for black. What's queen f2, king takes. Now g takes. Now rook to e1. And if this bishop check, I just drop back with my bishop. Or I march forward, king g3. But then what if the bishop checks again? King h4. I love it. Bishop can try to guard here, but I'm just going to kick it with h3. Bishop d7. Now bishop f6. Yeah, this looks pretty dangerous, doesn't it? Rook f to e8. h3. We're in no hurry to take on h5. Black wants to trade rooks. All the rooks. Now we take. Pawns are even, but blacks are totally busted up here. This is a bigger than a pawn advantage for the... Actually, he's up a pawn, but this majority is so much worse than that. And my two connectors over here are slightly better than his two that are separate. I can't quite get away with this and then taking with check because he's got bishop f4 check. But if I can get, say, g5 in, right, I think my plan is simple. There, and just grabbing that pawn. And then I've got an outside passer. I don't see a way for black to stop that. My king is just awesome on h5. Okay, way back. Way back. So that was the path not chosen by black. Would have been fun. Now queen h4. Okay, rook e8 was better here, because that prevents me from bringing my rook to the e-file. But that would allow... Rook e8 would allow... Oh, queen takes b4. Of course, of course. Wow. So saving the bishop was worse than losing a piece. I mean, saving the bishop was worse, yeah, than losing it. Okay, did I play the right moves here? Rook. It likes rook a to e1, but still not a big difference. Queen to c5. Bishop h6. Likes queen h5 here. Queen h5 and my queen can't get in. Can't get into h7 is in the game. What about bishop e6? Oh, that's queen f6. Yeah, that's curtains. He's got to watch out for queen f6. So he goes bishop e5. This also means you might get away with rook to e8. But I just take, and he has to take, and queen takes h7. Yeah, and there we are. So, okay, lessons from this game. I guess pawn structure kind of matters. Pawns can get in the way. This pawn on c3 kind of got in the way of the bishop hitting d1. I was happy with that. e1, I should say. And yeah, weak square complex over here, weak dark squares. So the computer liked h6 better here. This is probably black's key mistake. One of them. h6 holds a lot better. That gives me time to get my pieces out. But all told, it's a lot better for black. It's h6 is generally less weakening than g6, especially when your bishop is off here and might have difficulty coming back to guard these dark squares. So, okay, watch out for those dark square complexes and stay feisty.